I think the best way to describe the current state of the housing market is to share with you some of my absolute favorite comments from the web. I've heard this market described as going dumpster diving and expecting a fine steak dinner. There are more real estate agents than homes for sale in the US today. In San Diego, there's like a 10x difference. 2,000 homes available, 20,000 real estate agents. We went to see a different house in the same neighborhood with horrible water damage, urine smells, what looks like poop on the walls, still sold for asking price in 3 days. I hate this market. This is crazy. My name is Dan Parker. I'm a real estate agent here in San Diego, if you don't know me, and I've worked with clients over the last 12 months. I've done just about everything but offering their firstborn child to get their offers accepted. Don't do it. But I have some good news. I'm going to tell you exactly why we're actually going to start to see a market slowdown, exactly what that's going to look like, and hang around until the end because I have 4 tips for you if you are in the market today to get offers accepted at asking price or maybe even below asking price, and one thing that you absolutely should avoid. Now, this video I've been researching and analyzing for about the last 2 weeks. So even though I have feet on the ground, I'm in the middle of this market, I'm submitting offers for my clients, I'm researching data, trying to forecast what's going to happen in the future, especially when the market is as volatile as it is right now, is tough. And I want to make sure I give you as much good information as possible. And I love doing this, but the one thing you can do to help me, is just hit that like button. Hit it real hard or hit it real soft, just, reluctantly tap it. Doesn't matter to me. I'm okay with that. Now, there's basically 4 main things that I analyzed that led me to the conclusion that I think things are going to cool down a little bit. It has to do with market data, my own personal experiences, what we're hearing on the news, and also what's happening with the water cooler. What I like to call the water cooler. What other real estate agents are talking about in this market.
I love all this water cooler talk.
Now let's just start with the data. In the last 12 months, we've seen the median price detached home in San Diego County creep up from $660,000 to $825,000. That's a $165,000 increase in 12 months.
What a bargain.
And a big part of the reason why we've seen these prices skyrocket is because inventory is down so much. A 59% decrease in housing inventory in San Diego County. It's also a 46% decrease in average days on market, which means homes are going fast. Now, there's one major issue with utilizing these data points to try and forecast what's going to happen in the future. And that's that these data points are delayed. This is what was happening last month compared to the previous April. Using closed property statistics from last month means those accepted offers were almost 2 months ago. The market's been changing like crazy in the last 2 months. And that change is exactly what we're going to get into now. And there are all sorts of news articles out about what's happening in the current real estate market, how impossible it is to buy a house today. To be fair, it is becoming pretty dang hard to buy a house. The increase in property values in just last month alone was $25,000. And I've seen some articles break down exactly what it would take to put a 20% down payment on a median home in San Diego. So for an $835,000 home, you're talking a $165,000 down payment for a property.
Whoa, too rich for my blood.
Which is out of reach for a majority of Americans. Now, I kind of have mixed feelings on this analysis a little bit because on one side, is the average American putting 20% down on a house? No, not at all. I think it's somewhere around 6.5% to 7% is the average amount that American is putting down to purchase a house. But on the other side of that coin, you also have closing costs they're not talking about. You also have to worry about appraisals coming in low and the expectation from sellers that the appraisal might come in low. So they want to see that you have extra money in the bank to be able to make up for that difference. And then, of course, you don't want to completely empty your bank account when you purchase a house in case there are any unexpected repairs, maintenance that come up, or anything crazy that happens in your life that you need to be able to handle. Now, there are some hints that there are some fewer buyers on the market, starting with there are fewer mortgage loan applications. It started to decrease, went down by about 4%. Now, it's not a ton of money, but hopefully this is a sign of things to come. If that number keeps creeping down, it's going to make a significant impact on the future of the housing prices. Now, from my own personal experience, I work with buyers a lot in this market. And there are 2 main things I'm noticing. One is that buyers are getting burnt out from putting offer after offer after offer, increasing their price up and up and up until they feel uncomfortable where that price is at. And eventually they decide to back out of the market. Maybe hold off until prices cool down a little bit or until there aren't these crazy bidding wars so that they have more of an opportunity to secure the property that they're looking for. So personally, I'm seeing a little bit less demand. But the second thing that I'm seeing is that the active buyers that are out there in the market are getting more and more and more competitive.
And it's gone.
Whereas about, 8 months ago, going $100,000 over asking, you can almost guarantee you're going to get that home. Right now, I have buyers going $200,000 to $250,000 over asking and maybe not even getting the property. I mean, that's just crazy. I've written the absolute strongest offers I've ever written in the last month and a half. And this is driving the price up, even though there are maybe a little bit fewer buyers on the market for the properties that are really in demand, these turnkey properties, beautifully updated kitchen, nice backyard. You walk through and you just think, man, this house is perfect. A lot of those homes are going significantly over asking, and that's not slowing down. So again, personally, I'm seeing fewer people in the marketplace trying to purchase a house. At the same time, the prices continue to rise. So the main thing that we need right now is we need more inventory, because that really hasn't changed. But looking ahead at the future, I think we can start to see inventory rising a little bit from these historic low numbers. And there are three main things that I'm hearing from other real estate agents. Number one, it's actually getting a little bit easier to book showings. This has been a crazy headache for anyone that works with buyers. Just scheduling showings is becoming a challenge. Getting them back to back, because there's such demand and so few homes that they're booking up showings for some properties in a couple hours. And that seems to be getting a little bit easier, which is great. I'm also hearing from listing agents across the county that they seem to be receiving fewer offers. Now, don't get too excited, because this really means they're going from 20 to 25 offers to 15 to 20. This isn't good enough yet, but we're getting there. And lastly, they're getting more inquiries from people considering selling their home and moving out of state.
I'm out of here!
That would really increase the inventory levels and allow people to have more opportunity and more options when they're purchasing a home. Personally, I can tell you I've had more requests in the last week and a half just for that than I have in probably the last 4 months. So here's my prediction.
Show me, oh magic crystal ball.
Over the next 5 to 6 months, we're going to see fewer buyers in the market, and we're going to see inventory starting to rise. Now, this isn't going to be overnight. This isn't going to happen with a snap of a finger, but things are going to start to change. We're getting to the point where people are seeing their home values rise so much over the last couple of years that they're considering cashing out that equity, moving out of state. We're also going to start to see foreclosures and evictions start to take place. We're getting into summer, which traditionally is when most homes start to hit the market. And then you also have the sellers, or the potential sellers, that have waited selling their house because they don't want to become buyers. It's just going to be too crazy trying to buy a house. Once they start to see inventory rise, then they're going to move into the market, move up in their home, or move down. That's typically what people do when they stay in the same market. Now, does this mean the market's going to crash?
Not likely.
Does this mean the housing prices are going to fall?
You wish.
This is not a reason to sell your house and rent until the market crashes. This is more of a, hey, you aren't going to have to release all contingencies on day one and go 100,000 plus over asking to get an offer accepted, which honestly would be kind of nice. And if you're still looking to buy a house today in this crazy market, but you don't want to get involved in crazy bidding wars, there are 4 things that you should keep in mind. Number 1, make sure that you are selected as the backup position whenever you don't get your offer accepted. It doesn't matter if there are 20 or 50 offers. If you can plead with the seller, Mr. Seller, if your offer does not go through, I want you to know I'm here and ready. We'll give you everything that you need that we are able to give you a quick, easy escrow if for whatever reason your buyer falls through. I have buyers in escrow right now today where this exact thing happened to. And this happens all the time. Number 2, look into condos or townhomes, which have slightly less demand than single family homes. Really, it's a single family home market, which is just the most bonkers right now. Number 3, if you can find an off-market deal, obviously you won't have to bid against other buyers, which is great. Now, finding them can be a challenge, but talk through your personal network. If you were born and raised in San Diego, ask all your family and friends, hey, do you know anyone that's considering buying their house? Especially if you have a specific area in mind, you never know what people will respond with. And lastly, this is one of my favorites. Look for properties that are back on the market. That means they were in escrow and fell through for whatever reason. Sometimes it has to do with the house itself. Sometimes it has to do with the appraisal coming in way low considering the offer that they had in hand. Sometimes it's just the loan on the buyer's end or something random that has nothing to do with you as the next motivated buyer. But the reality is most people look at a property right when it hits the market, and that's when they get flooded with showings and with offers. So if you can find a back on the market property, you're gonna have way less competition. And one little word of warning, if you think that you can get into new construction to avoid the challenges of all these other buyers, think again. It's really, really hard to get new construction in San Diego, especially in the most desired areas. The new Three Roots community in Mira Mesa-ish area has 200 homes available for sale this year, and they've had over 14,000 applications.
Oh, that's a big number.
So just trying to get onto the list to get into the front of the line, have an opportunity to potentially become one of those home buyers, it's becoming harder and harder and harder. So this really begs a question. Is it even worth it to live in San Diego and purchase a home here? If the answer for you is yes, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help however I can. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below if you agree or disagree with what I'm saying here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.